Hello and welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy, and today we're going to do another final pour episode. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome, come on in. All my returning viewers, you know how we do. It's always good to see you. Come on in and let's get cracking. So today's final pour episode is going to be of the Old Smuggler blended Scotch. It is 80 proof or 40% alcohol by volume. See that? Now this is definitely a Scotch with a history, for sure. And if you haven't seen the full review episode where I talk about that history, go ahead and make sure you check that one out, at least after. Oh, got a nice big pour. A nice big pour. Oh boy. Okay, so there it is. The Old Smuggler. It's an interesting Scotch, so to say. It definitely changed. It evolved from throughout the bottle. And just let's do the rundown real quick. I know some of you just rolled your eyes. Okay, Mr. Randy does a 3-part series when he does reviews for whiskeys, wines, libations of sorts. First episode, off the rip, get it home, crack it open, pour it in a glass, have my first taste, share my first impressions with you, because gosh darn it, you're awesome. Part 2, here-ish, it's called the full review. We drink it down to about here-ish, and we leave whatever's left in the bottle for a week, 2 weeks, depending on scheduling and whatnot. I go on the internet, find as little as possible, bring it back to you. Hopefully I can stretch it out. Then we come back. We have it, we review it, we drink it, we talk about it, I score it, and we move on. We drink it down to the final pour where we are here today, called Part 3, the final pour. Thusly named, final pour in the glass. Compare it to the first pour, off the rip, and everything in between. So, off the rip, this was very rich, very smooth, very much like toffee and caramel. It's very rich and sort of thick, like almost like a syrup. The nose is very light, but it's also got that light sweetness of that caramel toffee. A little bit of ethanol. It's very light, very mellow. And a little touch of sweetness, like I said, toffee and caramel. Yeah, coffee. Yeah. Go ahead and get that first palating out of the way. It always seems to give you better results from viscosity, which is kind of odd because sometimes it'll take a minute after I've cleaned it and I've stripped it and cleaned it and come back. Might take a minute for those legs to start running. There we go. It's starting to form a little bit. I think there's too much in the glass. I'll rim it that real quick here. So let's go ahead and get that next one on there. So that first palating sort of like wiped clear across the whole mouth. And that was easy because the viscosity really transfers. And it really does help it spread. And it just blankets the whole mouth. See if I can't get some. Yeah, you'll see. Look at that. Look at that. Now, I do know that this is definitely color added. I don't know if it was flavor added. Or anything else they might have added into it. But it is a blending of over 40 different whiskeys. And we don't even know if all of those are Scotch. But I mean, in order for them to legally call it Scotch, it has to be made or blended, or to what degree? Does it have to go all the way down to the distillation, to the mash itself? Let's go ahead and get the next one on there and we'll work it out. It still has that velvety texture, that like liquid silk. It's not as syrupy or thick or viscous as it was off the rip. That's definitely thinned out. That complexity of the characters, the flavor characters, have fallen apart, unfortunately. There's still a lot there. It's just kind of messy and all over the place. And then it's nothing. The flavor just sort of runs away and leaves you with the effects. And it's hardly anything. It's really like I'm having a hard time pulling any. By the time it gets to a recognizable thing, it's gone. It's just got a sweetness, a sort of acrid, sort of acidic almost deal. Well, I think this might be kind of interesting roughly in the middle part from the first half of this bottle. It's one of those, it's a very ass backward kind of deal. A lot of times I'll get bottles that are much better on the second half, but this one's much better on the first half. This is a bottle I would highly recommend you crack it open and consume it as quickly as possible. Not in one setting, mind you, but maybe have some friends, maybe take it over with some friends. This would definitely be something worth having on the first half. That second half is where everything falls apart, and by now it's just not that great. So as the revisiting series goes, I said every bottle had me change my mind on the second half, but this one, everything I remember being good about it is on the first half. It's very unfortunate, unless, like I said, you drink it quickly. Like a wine, you'd probably have to drink it relatively quickly, because as soon as it opens up, as soon as it breathes, as soon as it expands and it evolves, the clock is running on this one. I'd have to say that. So let's go ahead. That's a big finish. I'm not going to go ahead and finish it right away right now. I'm going to save that for a moment. I'll try and cut it down on this video. The finish, it's got a heat on the back end, is probably a decent one. I'm getting a little bit of tingliness and numbness on the tip of the tongue. Not a whole lot of anything to recognize over the top of the tongue and towards the back. The cheeks do feel something as well. The finish here is really mild, really mild. You do get kind of a 1. That heat starts to build up to about a 1. The tip of the tongue still kind of holding. The cheeks are sub 1. It's barely anything there at all. But now the heat's like a little bit raising up. And I think that's because I'm talking as I'm working this. The heat is now like a good solid 2. And that's actually nice. Thanks for coming out kind of thing, you know. It took a while for it to get there. Now it's there. And I think it's going to sit there for a few minutes. But I'm not going to hold you. So there it is. Old Smuggler from my revisiting series. The final pour. Crap. Midway. Okay. Off the rip. Much better with the flavor characters that gave you that toffee and caramel and vanilla and its smoothness. It all was good on the first few pours and fell apart after that. So unfortunate. I probably will not be buying this again, like I said, unless I get a situation where I know it's going to be drank, or I'm just going to toss it because it's so cheap. It is cheap. I didn't want to say cheap, but it kind of is cheap. I mean, I guess depending on, situations, it could be a little better than cheap. But there it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I'll just leave it alone.